Hello, and friendly welcome to all my dear writers and those who just want to watch one. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad I am here, because today is the time, right now, for another interactive writing stream, and I've looked forward to that all week because it's always nice to write with you. Today we are writing the first Magi, a little story about a group of supernatural beings who try to bring some magical realism to the world, as they themselves phrase it, or more naively maybe, or less cryptically, they want to make the world better, which is, on the one hand, I'm tempted to say it seems easy because, it's quite bad, so any change you make has a realistic chance of being an improvement. But otherwise, the story is kind of about them finding out that it's not just a matter of power in that way, because people have made this world the way that it is, and they might even be theoretically able to just make people behave in a certain way by snipping their fingers, but that's not what they're going for, at least not for all of us. So it's going to get complicated, and this is a story about that. So we have set ourselves a curious and, as opposed to what I just said about changing the world, rather difficult task. So now you might be wondering, if he thinks changing the world and making it better is so very easy, while writing the story is so very hard, why doesn't he start with the first one, and then he can take care of the story when the world is settled? And that's a good question. But I don't wanna. So there's that. Today, we will continue to work. Hello everybody, says the chat, and hello everybody is what I respond to that. I'll give you a little heart emoji. Here, have one. You deserve that for being a good little audience. Today we're going to continue working on a scene where our, I guess, protagonists, Munira and Sam. I'm kind of careful with those terms because I don't like those categories. I don't really like them. I think there's no way around that they are kind of protagonists. Are interviewing a person living in a facility that takes care of older people mostly, I think. Also disabled people. Those are often combined in Germany. I don't know about other countries, but this story is happening in Berlin right now, Germany. And they are talking to one person who lives there and trying to find out how they can improve conditions. So let's see. It's been a while. So let's go back to the last few lines of dialogue and then get back into the situation from there. To everyone who happens to be new today, or later, if you're not watching this live, I'm quite sure you can still click on the links below this video. One leads you to a Discord server where you can interact and contribute to the story. You can ask questions, you can tell me what to write, and sometimes there are little polls where you can just give one of several multiple choice answers. Or you can enter your own, because this is still a very, what can I say? We're trying to be an anarchist space, a free space where everyone can say whatever they want within reason, and as long as they are not being wrong about it. You know what I mean. So the last few lines we wrote are the following. Maybe I need to go back even a bit further. I'm gonna say, yes, right. Munira and Sam had a little difficult conversation because Munira wants to know if this is some sort of weird game for Sam. And Sam says, I'll be honest, it's a bit of both sometimes. I sometimes forget that all of this is so serious and important for you, and so many of you don't act like it is. And also, Sam made a vague gesture into the clouds surrounding them. I think all of us Magi have gotten used to being away from this, being above. And it's hard to let that go, but we decided to try, and that's why we came back. And that is also part of why I wanted you to come with me, because yes, I could find out how often your police ask for money without help. Yeah. Maybe this is the moment where I should put this phrase over there, because it just confused me, so it might confuse other readers even more who have not written the story. Because yes, I could find out without help how often your police ask for money, but to find out what this actually means, you are very helpful to me, and to keep me from forgetting that it is important. Munira thought about this for several seconds. She finally started smiling and nodding and said, "Yes, makes sense to me. Thank you. I can help," she added, smiling with a bit more hope and brightness, before cheekily adding, "But you're still also going to teach me magic, right?" And that was last line I wrote last time. So what do you think? Have any of you brought any wishes or questions? Because otherwise I'll just see what we can do. I think I need to go back to before that part of the conversation to remember what they were talking about before. Munira exclaimed in frustration. Never know when you're asking questions because you actually want to know. That's where we are. Your point being, yeah, right. There's the thing. That's still the conversation. Money, yeah, right. Yeah. They were talking about money, of course. Everything always comes down to money with you people, doesn't it? Big bite of that cookie. Looks so good. Good cookie. Wouldn't you like a cookie right now? Gudmund didn't even think he'd like the taste much. Yeah, well. All right. Yeah. So yeah. Okay, then let's maybe do this. I'm gonna try using the microphone a bit more today, in the sense of that I try to dictate the text and see how that works, because I'm once again trying to, what's a good word? To not use that sinew so much that's there, because it's a bit angry at me again. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, that's it's already beginning. I need to change. I think I might need to change the microphone here, or it should be the right one. What's wrong? Oh, I know what's wrong. Well, I don't think I'll take the time to fix this now, so I'll have to do this with a mouse. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, that's the part that doesn't work. Usually, see, you might be wondering why I'm sorry to hear about your sore sinew, says Epiphany. Thank you, but it's no problem. It's just I try to not let it get really sore. So I always react at the first sign of any trouble. So the problem I'm having is usually this has a button where I can start detection, but I don't use the English profile very often because I dictate mostly for work, and my work is mostly in German. So the button isn't programmed in that profile because Dragon has different profiles for different languages and I can't use the same. I might be able to transfer the settings, but I don't even think that's the thing. And it's not difficult to set that button, but it would require like 2 minutes of concentrated work in the menu, and I'm not going to put you through that because I can also do it with a mouse. So still, how is Sam going to react? Now they had a serious conversation that's not exactly Sam's strong suit, so they might try to get away from that quickly. And Munira has given them an opening, so they are going to use that. Why is there usually? No idea. Maybe I'd put that there. So let's try it like that. The main problem will be that I'm used to using that button, and I will always just you will now have to watch me for close to an hour pushing that button and then looking at it confused because it doesn't work. Or maybe I'll just not close it in between. Can I do that? Can I turn off the microphone in some way? Well, it's sorry, I'm making it complicated more than it needs to. I will try. Close quote. They responded. Comma, open quote, but I suspect you might not be the easiest of pupils, so forgive me if it takes a bit longer than me learning everything there is to know about human society. Full stop. Also because it's a much more what's a good word? The thing is, you might already have guessed where I'm going with this. Sam is going to make a little disparaging remark about human society by pointing out that magic is much more complex and interesting and yeah, I want to. That's the that's the problem. You know, I want them to use a word that has positive connotations, and complicated might work, but it's not quite clear that this is a diss against humanity. So I want to find complex might be better. Interesting would of course be good, but doesn't work in the context of this sentence. Broad, no. Deep. Complex, it's much more complicated and deep. Layered. Complex and deep, it's much more deep. Just deep, because sometimes one word is better than two. Maybe I'll try it like this. I'm going to, I'm trying to, there we go. You can't see it, but I'm working hard here. So deep and layered topic. What do you call that little M dash? But I don't think Dragon can do an M. It recognizes the command M dash, but I'm going to try. M dash. The M dash is pretty long. I think an N dash would have been what I want. Can it do that too? N dash. Yeah, maybe just a dash. Dash. Is that even different, or is that the same dash? I don't know. I think it's a slightly shorter dash, isn't it? We're gonna go with that dash. But then again, comma, there's the bright side that it's also much more interesting! Exclamation mark. Munira turned to Gudmund. Almost. I mean, that it doesn't recognize Gudmund is understandable, but Munira worked pretty well. And murmured, there they go again. Full stop, close quote. So almost, this needs to be a capitalized thingy. And now we are prepared to go back to the actual topic. I think that Maybe even is it more fun if Gudmund has to be the one to force them back to the topic of money and helping the people in the facility, or is it maybe a good signal if Sam does it? You know what? I'm going to make a poll because it's 10:15 and we haven't had a single one. Let's make a poll. Poll, new line. Who brings them back to the topic of money and helping the people in the facility? ? New line. Sam, new line, Gudmund. Yeah, Gudmund doesn't work. I haven't forgotten. I just ignore it. So here we go. Here's a poll for you. So now we need emoji. How about I'm gonna pull this up so I can see it easier, and then there's, I don't know, I'll just this, and then there's Gudmund, and that's this one. And that's all you need for a poll, except for the emoji to click on, and I'm going to provide those. Here's the whatever that's called. I think party popper or something. Isn't that right? Isn't that a party popper? It looks like a party popper to me. Here. It is a party popper indeed. And then there's a rabbit. And also, of course, there shall be a shrug for all those who don't want to make up their minds because they are lazy and disinterested and do not care about me and my story. Now, this might not be the most important decision we are going to make in this story, but I think, well, just for variety's sake, it's nice to sometimes have these polls, and then again, you might not even agree with my estimation of the importance of this decision, and also, you might have heard about this, especially in fictional stories, but sometimes also in real life, hint, hint. Seemingly small things can be or cause big differences. And there we go, of course, democracy, it just does not work. Now we have one vote for Sam and one vote for Gudmund. Let's flip a coin. I haven't flipped a coin in a while. Here's a coin. I have a coin. This is a coin. Have either of you seen this coin before? No? Can you confirm that we have never met? Right. And now I'm going to flip the coin. And if the side, the face, I don't know, the thing with a big number on it, this one, if this one is up, then it will be Sam. And if this one with a whatever this is up, then it will be Gudmund. All right. Let's go. What is this? Is this the moon behind that building? And even if, what is it? Can I? So the front is always the same with the European countries and the big number and the euro cent. And then on the back side, those are country specific, right? They had these little, like, Germany has their own motive and Austria has their own motive, and maybe even France has their own motive. I'm not sure about that, but I think so. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. Maybe I'll Google it later. Which country is it from? Yeah, I don't know. You tell me. Which country is this from? Can you see this? I think you can kind of see this, right? Here you go. I don't know. Maybe I'll Google it later. There seems to be a moon going on there behind that building, so that might help in Googling, because just old building probably wouldn't work all that much. It says 2002, if that helps, but it probably doesn't. We'll find it out later, maybe. I can't see it very clearly, says Epiphany. No, the camera probably doesn't pick up on it very well. Also, you might have noticed the camera is set to blurring my background. That also was a mistake, because that means it's trying to blur everything that isn't me, and that coin, whatever else it might have going for it, quite clearly is not me. All right. Still, so what did I say? This is Sam. This is Gudmund, and I'm now going to flip the coin and hopefully not dropping it. And there we go. And so the upside. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that is correct, and it is a seltene Münze. No, that's great. It's worth a lot of money apparently. Great. Maybe I should be careful with it. It doesn't look as good as the one in the picture, but if it is a seltene Münze, I should probably keep it. My thinking behind voting for Sam is I like the idea that they are benevolent and constructive. That's very good. And we can display them as such, but unfortunately for you, Epiphany, I'm sorry, this is the weird moon thingy. So, Gudmund it shall be. But Sam can be benevolent and constructive still. So let's go with that. You both get your wishes. And I will see what to do with this seltene Münze, because if I can sell it for 900 euro, then I will probably rather not spend it on a quarter ball of ice cream, right? Valuable seltene Münze. Thank you, says Epiphany. No, thank you. There they go again. So, okay, Gudmund. No, right. We were talking about money as a way to help improve matters around here. Comma, close quote. You know what? I have completely forgotten whose point of view we're writing from, so I should probably check that. Munira thought about this for several seconds. Here we have an indication, but that is not certain. Gudmund thought. There we go. So it's still Gudmund. I suspected that, but I wanted to make sure. Said to try and bring them back to the original issue. Full stop, new line. It was a strange feeling to try and be the voice of reason in a group that was set up like this and that apparently contained at least one being able to change reality by just their thoughts. Comma, but then again, remembered faculty meetings and similar occasions at his university. And while, comma, to his knowledge, comma, there never had been any supernaturally powerful beings, comma, this was not the first time he had to remind a powerful person of their responsibilities, full stop. Yeah, this might be considered boring and not very necessary for the story, but I think it builds a bit of character for Gudmund and insight into their perspective, maybe. And also it acknowledges that he is in a weird position. And I think that's important because you might remember this, and also if you don't, you probably know this. I know you don't need me to explain this to you, but let me pretend so I'll feel better. Our readers will have a much easier time feeling like this is an interesting and unusual, a tense, fascinating special situation if the characters feel it too. And now you might tell me that, are you sure comparing this to university faculty, Jesus Christ. Next attempt. Now I'm gonna get it right. Comparing this to a university faculty meeting is the right way of showing our readers that this is a very interesting and unusual situation, then you have a point there, but you might remember the comparison serves to illustrate something else, and the actual interesting part is before that. So I hope this works, but this being an interactive writing stream, you can always feel free to let me know if you disagree. I'm sure a lot of what I'm writing here can be written better, and if you feel like helping me, always do. Please always do, because quite like Sam, I am very wise and powerful and kind of supernatural in my ways sometimes. Oh, I was going for something else, right? I'm the other things right here. Benevolent and constructive. That's what. Yeah. That. What Epiphany said, right? Yeah, that. To this relief, this powerful person didn't seem resentful about it. Punkt. Sam nodded brightly. Oh, little mistake there. Sorry. And said, colon, new line, open quote. You are absolutely right. So there we have our constructive and benevolent Sam. Now comes the time we need to make more decisions, unfortunately, and I think an important one is, how exactly does Sam act about that? I think we can just take for granted that money is not much of an issue to Sam, not least because they have said so. So providing the facility with money is not a problem for Sam. They have also accepted that it is a reasonable attempt at improving things there. So I guess from this position, there is no reasonable way around them doing it. Do you agree with my logic here? I think we have now written a situation where Sam reasonably has to provide this institution with money. Then again, there might be reasons against it. I'm not sure if they are good reasons, but I might make a poll about this, don't worry. But I'm trying to get it clearer in my own head, you know? What is happening here? Because, of course, and that's the thing that the characters in our story cannot take into account. But we, as the people writing the story, absolutely need to take this into account. Sam solving this problem with money is not an interesting story. Absolutely, it's not. It's not. Sam going, oh yeah, here's a bag of gold, and then leaving is not an interesting story. So we need to do, Sam can give them a bag of gold, or however the money manifests. Manifests. I'm such a joker, sorry. They can do this. It's not in and of itself uninteresting, but it is also not in and of itself interesting, so we have to do something with that. We can make a discussion of it and then decide that it is not the only measure, it is just one of many. I think that is where we should probably go. Sam could also raise a few objections and doubts about this. For example, by pointing out that by providing the facility care, the care facility, with more money. Sam would enable them to provide better care, to hire more people, to buy better stuff, and that probably would be good for all who live there. But Sam might also point out that by doing this, they are not improving anything substantially, but they are just giving more resources to this facility, thereby kind of taking them away from other facilities, because care people who have been hired by this facility cannot be hired by others. So if they hire some, then that means others have fewer nurses, for example. This would not be completely true, because obviously the number of nurses is not a zero-sum game. It's not a fixed amount, because people can change their profession. They can leave, for example, useless and terrible professions like being police officers, and instead decide to do something nice and useful, like becoming nurses, for example. Although I'm not sure I would wish a former police officer upon anyone who needs a nurse, but then again, maybe people can change. I've heard about this thing. But still, it is an objection that Sam might raise and that they might talk about. But is this interesting? Do we want to have this discussion, or do we rather want to just move away from the issue of money? We could just have Sam say, yeah, all right, I'll give them money. Let's talk about the complicated problems. And right now, this feels like the better way. Know what I mean? Sam just says, yeah, it's fine, you get money. But that's not everything. Let's talk about the things that we actually need to address. Yeah, I'm gonna make this the poll, but I'll think about it for a minute more, because I want to know, are there other things I should include in the poll? Sam might refuse to give them the money, but I see no advantage for anyone in that. Sam might... They might, of course, but that's also a problem for later, I think. They might use the money in a certain way, like not just giving them money, but saying, like, I can give you money, but first you need to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if these conditions are satisfied, then you get the money. Something like that. But that's not for the poll right now, I think, because that's for later. Anything else? I mean, they could move away from the money without making any decision right now. I think I see only those options for now. So let's go with those. Hashtag poll. Will our heroes, new line, have a discussion about the money issue? Or, new line, just grant the money and move on? Here we go. That's the question. Have a poll about it. Which emoji? Maybe these emoji. And of course, this is one of those moments where I cannot help but use a thematically fitting emoji. Sometimes I just cannot resist. And here are your emoji for clicking. First off, you get the eyes that, of course, symbolize a discussion. What else? And then you get the money. Where is it? The money with the wings. I had the money with the wings, but now it's gone. I'm gonna give it... are those even wings? I can't quite see it because it's a bit further away from me. I am in a bit of a two monitor situation right here, and one is a bit further back. You know, I have the one with the story with my Word document right in front of me, and then slightly behind that over there is the one where I can see the chat, so I can read it pretty well. But the details of the emoji I need to get closer. Yeah, are those little wings? They look like wings, right? They are wings. Yeah, the dollar is flying. Yeah, I think the dollar is flying. So we have one vote has already been cast, but we are still waiting for a second vote. And wait we shall. Because democracy only works if everyone is included, and even then it doesn't. I'm not sure anymore where I was going with this. Ah, yeah, there we go. So they will have a discussion about the money issue. Okay, okay. You want to talk money then? Let's talk money. And as the saying goes, I have some good news and some bad news about this. Full stop. And Munira looked at them for a while. Before Sam, with a sigh and a shake of their head, prompted them, new line, open quote. Which do you want to hear first, question mark. Close quote. Why, oh why? Sorry. Why, oh why does Dragon have such issues with just capitalizing the first letter in a quote? I don't get it. But that's Dragon for you. So, yeah, I know, I'm getting distracted again, but don't worry, we'll get back to the issue very soon. How does Gudmund react to that? Annoyed, of course, but how does he show it? Like this. Suppressed a roll of the eyes, while Munira did not. Full stop, new line, open quote. Bad news, please. Full stop, close quote. Sad, full stop, new line, open quote. Sam pouted, full stop. Oh, but I wanted to start with a good, comma, it would be so much better dramaturgically. For heaven's sake. Close quote. Muttered. Just say it, exclamation mark, close quote. Now what to do, because this is Munira, this one, the just say it, that's Munira. And my first instinct was to have her exclaim it in the sense of that I'm writing it like that. Just say it, Munira exclaim. But then there's an exclamation mark already. Do I need that? But then again, if I have her just say it, no, can't work. because the exclamation mark is there. So I'm overthinking this, I know. And also I can't leave it out, because I would much prefer to leave it out and just have it without an attribution. But I don't think it's obvious enough that this can only be Munira, because on the one hand, it can only be Munira, because Gudmund has just talked and we have made a new paragraph. So there's a line break. So if Gudmund were to have said both of these things, then it would look like this. And it doesn't. So it's clear this can only be Munira, because Sam, why would Sam just say it? That doesn't make any sense. But then again, I think you have to think about it too much, so it disrupts your flow. So we need to have the attribution. And I don't want it, but still. And I think Munira exclaimed is the best attribution. But if you have a better idea, let me know. Munira exclaimed. And if you think I'm trying to be too cute, you can also tell me that, because this is an interactive writing stream. Open quote. Okay, exclamation mark. So first the good news, colon. Money is no issue, comma, I can give them money. I don't have any right now. Comma, but I know where it is. Also, it's not hard to make. Sam looked around at them, comma, waiting for questions, comma, but none came, comma, so they continued, colon, new line, open quote. On to the bad news. I'm not sure I should do this. Because if money is the problem, how can it be helpful to provide more of it, question mark. I might be making things better for now, comma, in the short run, comma, but fundamentally, I would just be cementing the systemic issues, comma, right, question mark, close quote. Much better and less easy to dismiss than what I said before, I think. Because it's more nebulous, yes. But that's Sam for you. Maybe we'll just use that quote even though it is a bad, problematic quote. Open quote. Maybe. Close quote. Always forget the comma. Admitted. Comma, open quote. But sometimes you have to give someone a fish first so they don't starve while you're teaching them. And now I'll be honest with you for a change. I'm tempted to have Sam go off on a tangent again and pretend like they don't know the saying, or maybe they actually don't know the saying, but I think that would be wrong of me. I think I won't do it. I think I'll have Sam just accept the argument, not in the sense that they immediately agree with it, but accept it as an argument that they understand and consider a reasonable one. Maybe it's nice. Maybe Sam could talk about the larger situation, like well, I'm changing my own situation here slightly right now, so sorry about any disturbance. Here we go. So maybe Sam could at this point talk about the broader situation, that there are other facilities and maybe the medical system as a whole needs more money, and maybe they need to talk about that, and maybe that leads them to the next step in the adventure. Maybe that makes sense. How do you feel about that? So we don't spend the next 100 pages of this in the nursing care facility, but we go to the places where the actual money decisions are made, like, I don't know, the Ministry of Health, the banks, pharmaceutical companies, maybe even Ministry of Finance or something like that. I think that would probably make for a better story than having them potter around in this one care facility for most or all of the story. I'm not saying they're leaving right now. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the next sentence is, all right, holy redistribution to the Sam-mobile. That was my attempt at a Robin Batman joke. It was a bad one, of course. I'm not sure my audience is familiar with I think that's from the 50s or 60s, the very old Batman, that had this mask that looked like someone had drawn upon it with chalk. I always loved that Batman. I think it's still good. I think it's not that bad. Of course, it's an old Batman production, but it's kind of nice. It has its moments. It's weirdly cute, I think. Maybe I can give you a GIF in the chat, so you know what I mean. I think he's called. What is he called? He's Bruce. No, Dick. Do I? No. That's completely wrong. I want to show you the Batman I'm talking about. It's not that one. It's that one here. That Batman. I'm familiar with the new Batman. Yeah, Epiphany. That's good. And Grimble less so, but I'm talking about this Batman is the one I'm talking about, And I think that Batman is very old. I think that series is maybe even from the 50s. I'm not sure. The one with the costume that I could have made, given enough time. But still, I think I'm going to make this a poll. It has some nice moments, and I'm not sure how intentionally funny it was, but the villains usually stopped Batman from beating up them and their henchmen by just, I don't know, having I don't they flee into a women's changing room, and then Batman follows them, and then he sees that he's in a women's changing room, and he can't look anymore, because now he has to avert his eyes and hold his hands before his face, so he lets the villains escape because he can't watch the women change, something like that. And I know if I describe it like that, it sounds rather terrible, and in a way it is, but it's terrible in a cute way, I think. Can you follow my reasoning here? I'm not sure if you can, but that's kind of what embodies this series for me, and the vibes of this series, as the young people say today, if I understand correctly. So yeah, poll. I was talking about a poll. Hashtag poll. And the poll is... Are we preparing for Sam and Munira to leave the nursing care facility and address the systemic issues about money distribution by talking to people like ministers, health insurance managers, and bankers, question mark. New line. No, I just need the... I can just do the thumbs up and thumbs down for this, I think. We don't need more complicated emoji systems. Oh, and I still haven't managed to switch off the microphone. Here we go. Switch off my microphone now. Switch off now. Thank you. So here we go. Oh, what did I do? Did I push the wrong button? Here's the poll. And as I said, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the next sentence is, all right, let's leave. But they will finish this conversation, they will talk about it a bit more, and then the result will be that they need to talk to the people in power to redistribute the money so that not only this one nursing care facility gets help and more money, but all, and that the system gets better in a way. I realize there's difficulties in that because it might be hard, or let's say it the other way around, it might be easy to fall into the trap of them just making little adjustments to the system, you know, like, oh, let's put 20% more money into the, you know, like the Democratic Party, or like liberal, let's say it like this, like a liberal party would do, not really changing the system, not really addressing the fundamental issues, but just making slight adjustments so people feel that there's progress, but actually everything stays the same and the rich get richer and so on. We don't want that, and that's not what Sam and the Magi are going to do. We just have to keep this in mind. We can do this. I'm just saying that's not what I aim to do, and it's difficult, of course, but we need to think in that direction, just also so you know where I'm going with this. To address this about money by talking to people like ministers, health insurance managers, and money bankers. This is ministers. I'm always unsure. I know ministers in English also means clerics, like priests, but it's also a word for... In the US, they are called secretaries, and I think in Great Britain too. But in Germany, we call them minister. It's a German word. It's identical to minister. It's just pronounced a little bit differently. So that's always the word I'm going to by default. But does it actually work for people whose first language is English, or are you always primarily thinking about a priest and wondering why they should go to the church? Although the church does have a lot of money, and also it's very much involved in care and health. Many hospitals are run by them and all that in Germany. So, all right, I'm going to give you the poll now. For now, I would not use ministers, says Epiphany. What would you use? Secretaries, but that's also wrong. What word? Good to know. What would you use? Just government officials, of course, but that's not specific. What is the word you would use? You can pretend I already used the right word, but I will change it later. No. Oh, there's the shrug. Politicians or members of parliament. But that's not the same. Ministers don't even have to be members of parliament. They can just be some random dude. Usually it is, you know. They picked up on the street. A minister or a secretary of state or foreign secretary or something like that, they don't have to be members of parliament. They can just be someone the head of the government hired. So what do you call those in general? I'm gonna look at a translation site. You know what I mean. Sorry. Not criticizing you here, Epiphany. I'm just thinking out loud, and I'm being engaged, you know. I'm into this. Let's have a look. What do we say? Minister. Yeah. Secretary, Secretary of State, Ministers. Yeah, well, there's no really good word, is there? I can write Health Secretary. Or politicians. Let's go with politicians. I think you're right about that. Let's go. That's the best we get. And it's less specific, but that doesn't matter. Let's go with politicians. Here we go. Done. Politician done. So now you can vote. Your vote matters. Go vote. I can't give you those little buttons that say I voted, but you can make them yourself and put them on you. I'm allowing it. I'm giving you permission to put a button on yourself that says I voted in Fabian's interactive writing live stream. You can build one, you know, print it and make your own button sets, and you can use them and you can put them wherever you want. So people know that you did your civic duty in voting. So there's already one shrug. Do we get another shrug or do we get a vote? It's up to you. It's not like I mind the shrugs. It's really I just made a joke when I dissed the shrug. I'm sorry, but I'm unsure, says Gekrimmel. That's fine. You don't have to be sorry. The shrug is fine. It's a valid choice, and it's absolutely okay to use it. Especially here. I hear there's some controversy about people who abstain from casting a vote in political elections, and we're absolutely not going to get into that here and now. But in these polls, it's perfectly fine to just abstain. Is that the right word? I like the idea of talking to politicians, but not only about money, says Epiphany. No. They won't be talking only about money, don't worry. Sam is not even interested in money, so that will be settled very quickly. They'll talk about other things, no worries. You can trust me. We have 2 shrugs now. All right, so yes, abstain is good. All right, then let's leave it at that for now. I'm gonna write a bit more, but we're close to the end, so prepare for having this experience run out. Don't know. Sam looked around demonstratively. Full stop, new line, open quote. Doesn't look to me like people are starving here. Full stop, I even brought cookies. Full stop. Close quote. New line, open quote, it's a metaphor. Comma, close quote. Goodman crowd. Sam laughed, like they didn't have a care in the world. Full stop, new line, open quote, I know. Comma, and it's fine. I promise we'll talk about... We'll take care of the money issue. And we'll also talk about the agency issue you mentioned in the beginning, full stop. Close quote, new line. Sam looked around again, comma, but this time not to call attention to their surroundings, but thoughtfully, comma, tapping their chin with an index finger. So would you say This interview is mostly over, question mark, close quote. So this was today's writing live stream, and I think we have been quite productive, even though we got lost in a few rabbit holes, maybe. But I think we're making progress, and given how complicated the task we have set for ourselves is, I'm quite satisfied with this progress, and I have you to thank for it, because you're a wonderful audience. Your input provides me with a lot of nice ideas and decisions, and that's very helpful. So I hope you enjoyed it too, and I hope you will join me again next time, and I also hope you will push all the buttons social media provides you with, except for the thumbs down button. We don't need that. Let's not talk about the thumbs down button. It is a very bad button. The other buttons you can push, share whatever you want to share, talk about this to whomever you want to, think about this if you want to come with a plan next time, but you don't have to. You can just watch me write. That's the nice thing about this. You get all the glory of being an author, and maybe even all the condescension of watching someone doing something they're not particularly good at, without any of the work. Isn't that cool? I hope you'll come back next time, and I hope you'll have a nice day. Today is a bank holiday in Germany, but I think in Australia that might not be the case. So anyway, I'm wishing you a nice day, whatever you're doing and whatever kind of day it is for you. Goodbye and thank you. Awkward pause while I look for the close button and confirm.